Good morning, Denny. It is Wednesday, July 19th, and I finished the final book in the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Before I go on my review of this book, I want to tell a little story about when I went to camp. It was this time, about 10 years ago, when I was 11. I was a first year Boy Scout, and I was out to Camp Bartle. And of course, me being 11-year-old, I was screaming and running and trying caffeine for the first time under very questionable adults' leadership. But every Sunday at camp was Family's Day, and the Sunday that we had our Family's Day was the Sunday after this came out, that the Harry Potter Book 7 premiered to the world, and the third, fourth, fifth years all got them from their parents because they were so enthralled in the story of Harry Potter, and they were getting to the high school age, and they identified a lot and grew up with Harry Potter. I did not, but it was interesting to read this book that they just flipped through on a Sunday night and stayed up into the wee hours of Monday morning finishing, because that's what this book meant to people. It meant their parents coming to camp and giving them a copy and flipping through them all night just to see what would happen. And it's been a nice, emotional, and fulfilling roller coaster. I still wouldn't say that this is the magnum opus of our generation, but it's still a pretty great book. It might actually be one of my favorite Harry Potter books. Numbers 3, 6, and 7 were my top 3. And it's kind of weird that one of my favorite Harry Potter books is the least Harry Potter-y book, because they don't go to Hogwarts at the beginning of the year. Yeah, the book starts off with people dying, so spoiler alert for those ahead. Harry and 6 other people pretending to be Harry fly off. Mad-Eye Moody dies, Hedwig dies, Harry and Hagrid crash land at Tonks' parents' place. They end up at the Burrow, wedding happens, Ministry falls. Harry and his friends go off in search of Horcruxes. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but they don't find any really, except for the locket, which this has not one but two kind of like bank heisty, high stakes Ocean's 11 kind of parts, where they go to the Ministry of Magic and steal a Horcrux, and they go to Gringotts and steal a Horcrux. So they travel across the land, searching far and wide, have to understand how to murder a Horcrux, which they use the Gryffindor's sword to murder it. Yeah. And yeah, they go to Hogwarts eventually, and battle ensues. More people die. Ted's gonna grow up with his grandma. People yell a lot. A little bit of the teenage angst comes back, especially with Ron and during the middle of the book. Deathly Hallows, those 3 magical thingamajiggs crafted by death, or so they say. Dumbledore comes back and during a dream sequence and says my favorite line in the book. Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean it's not real? Which I feel like is J.K. Rowling speaking through Dumbledore and telling about the adventures of Harry being completely real if you believe in them and all that jazz. And eventually Harry himself dies, comes back and murders Voldemort. Well, he kind of murders himself, but Harry, yeah. The moral of the story is Snape is still not pleasant even after you read his redeeming chapter, in at least my eyes. He still was a major dick to Harry and stuff. I understand the theme of these books is that love conquers all and redeems all, but I don't think it quite redeems Snape in my eyes. Just because he had the hots for Harry's mom doesn't mean that he wasn't a bad person at Hogwarts and directly after Hogwarts. And I still think he was a great person after he repented against Dumbledore and Harry and his mom, because there could have been so many other ways he could have gone about helping Harry. That was probably the worst way to do it. So congrats on you, Snape. I still hate you, even though you had one redeeming quality. That was you killed Dumbledore because he said so. But the moral of the story is that friendship and love conquers all, and death is inevitable. I feel like that is a big theme of this book, that a lot of people die, and the main characters look at people trying to outrun death to only disastrous consequences. Anyways, that is my review of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I give it 6 out of 7 Horcruxes. That Ravenclaw one was a little weird, and the way that it destroyed it was a little weird. Anyways, DFTBA, see you super, bye.